Hey guys, it's MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back, and if you are new, I am very excited that you have decided to join me here. Today we are doing another speed build, and I titled it the Sapphire Shores Rental. The lot name is Sapphire Shores, and I recently discovered that you can set the lot type to a rental lot type. So it is supposed to function just like the lot types in Granite Falls and Salvadorada. However, when I was playtesting this, it was a little wonky just in that rental capacity. So all of the objects work fine, you can access everything, but that functionality was a little weird. So I would just recommend downloading it as a residential lot if that is of interest to you. But yeah, the build is coming together already. The outside structure is literally just a rectangle. It's not something I usually like kind of landing my builds with, but it worked in this case because I was actually looking at somewhat of a floor plan from Pinterest, and I kind of just made it my own. And then I did these kind of tiered, like I did in my last build, patios all the way down because this was a huge lot. And I wanted to make sure that that structure was intact before I really moved on to everything else. And the roof I kind of referenced off of some of the other builds that are in the background of this world. So I did give it kind of that little bit of depth, just a barely kind of a peak on the top there, and I did use the tin roofs and some of the siding that we got with Island Living. As for the windows, I knew where to place them yet again because I do the floor plan off camera, and I can't wait to show you guys the inside, but we do go ahead and tackle the landscaping first. There was a lot of landscaping because this lot was huge. I didn't really know what to do with it because there was so much room to fill up and so many different things that I could use. So I pull out kind of a bunch of trees. I wanted to use a lot of color. Aside from just that pop of orange from the siding, I wanted to use all the different colored flowers, and I also tried to pull in some other flowers from different packs that I thought blended really well in this world and with these landscaping items. So here we are just kind of adding those flowers around, and then we pull out some jungle adventure flowers, and I thought they actually worked really nicely. They're still really tropical because of course Salvadorada is somewhat of a tropical world, just kind of not the same tropical, but I think they worked really nicely. And what I ended up doing is basically creating a pathway, as you can see, down to the water on that left side. And I don't know, it's not really a pathway to anything other than the water, but I thought it worked just to kind of round out the lot because I didn't want to put landscaping in literally a rectangular shape in the front there. And I do add some rocks, which I thought was a little bit different. I have started using them in tropical builds here because, well, I mean, there's still rocks there. So I thought that that was kind of neat. It filled in a little bit more space that I didn't really have plants to fill in. And here we are just using the darker sand in the front because I did want there to be somewhat of a walkway. And like I said, I do fill it in to lead Sims down to the water there on the left, and then I just add a few more plants. And like I said, this was a lot of landscaping, but it was really fun, so lush, and I thought it came out so beautifully because it really filled in this lot where I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to. It's a huge lot. I think it was like a 40 by 50 or like a 50 by 50 or something like that. It's down in the description, so now I can't remember, but yeah, it's a huge lot and I did not know how to fill it. So I am excited that this all came together fairly well. And yeah, we're just kind of finalizing that path. And then in this corner, since I didn't extend the landscaping out that way, I figured I would kind of corner it off. So again, I add more of those flowers, that leaning palm tree, which is my favorite tree that we got with this pack. I may or may not use it in almost every build, and I try not to sometimes because I do overuse it, but it's just so beautiful and it works perfectly. And I ended up using kind of that new outside quote-unquote grill that we got with this pack, and just a few seats for them to go ahead and hang out there. Again, I was thinking this is somewhat of a rental lot, even if the functionality may not work very well. And I figured that this was a nice place for them to hang out in the evening, and I made use of that patch of land on this lot that just wasn't covered at the time. And now we're already in the interior. It is a 3-bedroom, 2 full bathroom house for rent. And we go with kind of light woods throughout the living space and the dining space, and then each bedroom is actually very different. They're somewhat individualized just in the sense that there's a color scheme. Again, since it's a rental property, I wasn't thinking that there were going to be too many personalized clutter items or anything like that. But here we're kind of working out the bathroom because I was going to section off the shower area in each of the bathrooms. And you'll see that kind of come together a little bit later, but I thought it came out really, really nice. So I'm excited to show you guys that. And first we go ahead and toss a washer and dryer in this little nook because again, I was following a floor plan and I figure that Sims that are renting this property are here for maybe like a week or two. So I thought laundry was kind of essential. And then we go ahead and just do a little sectioned off to the entry of that bedroom from the front door just so it's not completely open. And just like my last build, the Conservationist Bungalow, I go ahead and do a kind of a column here, or not a column, the kind of like the spindle, I suppose, over there to kind of create an entryway without sectioning it off and adding a door. I was going to add a TV here, but I figured when you're on vacation, and especially in a world like Sulani, you are outside. If not, you're just kind of hanging out, enjoying, your friends or family's company. So I did not add a TV, and you've probably noticed I haven't added a TV, I don't think, in any of my Sulani builds so far. I didn't think that they were very useful in this world, and maybe I'm projecting, because if I were on vacation here, I would not be watching TV. I would be outside, enjoying all of the outside activities, so that's kind of how I'm approaching it. And then we just add the coffee table and a little seating area. We add some flowers, and then I actually try to choose the wallpaper. So we got this with a free update a while ago, and I thought it was nice for this world. I don't use it very often because it is hard to use in a lot of builds, but I thought it worked perfectly here. And then I sized down these bookshelves and kind of mold them together a little bit because I thought they were really pretty, and I filled these empty spots here with either artwork or some clutter items. It was a little bit challenging just because with the bookcases sized down, if there is an item that actually snaps to a section of this bookshelf, it snaps at the original height, even though the item is sized down. And that's what happened with that plant there. So I had to pull out that handy dandy red shelf and get it to the level that I needed it at. Otherwise, it would snap to the original height. So yeah, we just add some plants, some artwork, and that vase down there that we got with Island Living. And that's about it. Then we just add these ceiling fans, which I'm trying to use more and more because they do oscillate and actually generate cool air if you have seasons. We go ahead, add a chest table and a painting on the wall there. And then I wanted to give this household a couple of plants because it seems like a very planty place. So I add that palm tree there. And then I decide, you know what? They need what's it called? Not just a radio, they need some kind of stereo. There we go. They need a stereo to enjoy some island tunes while they're inside. I go ahead and hang some drapes just to make it a little bit more fancy there. And then we move on to the dining, but you will see me jump back and forth into different rooms. Like when I found that sailboat wallpaper, I knew I needed it in at least one room. So I solidified that really quickly before I moved on. I wanted to get the curtains in there to make sure that I could kind of come up with a color scheme, so I go ahead and do that really quickly. And then I jump back and decide that all of these leaves are way too much, so I just keep one wall as the accent wall with that pattern, and then color the rest the dark green. And I just hang up a couple more things on these little snippets of wall here just so it doesn't look as empty, because to me it was looking a little empty. I don't like bare walls, I'm realizing. And we are back in the dining, so I put this really long dining table from Seasons, the chairs from Island Living, and then I tried to come up with a hutch. I couldn't decide on one right away, so I moved on to something else. I grabbed a few more clutter items to toss in the living space and on the table, just to make it look a little bit more lived in, though again, not extremely personalized, just very themed to the island. And here I'm kind of flipping through different things, trying to find a hutch that's going to work, and I end up just landing with the cats and dogs one because it was the only one that really fit that space, and the white kind of matched the dining table, even though the chairs are brown. I don't know, I think it kind of meshed together. And I go with this modern kind of wood paneling that we got with Island Living as well because I thought this was a little bit more of a fancy area for gathering. I toss in some houseplants that look a little bit tropical. I was going to use this wall decoration here, but with those lights, I don't know, it just looked a little too empty, but also a little too polished for what I was going for. So I used the entryway table, I use this plant, I hang up a painting, and then I just put some decorative clutter items. So I grab a plant, I do grab those fake lemons, which in this video I'm saying they're fake, even though I have gone with the fact that they are real in others. And I just kind of clutter it up a little tiny bit, just to give it those homey touches. Maybe this is an Airbnb. Oh, that's an idea. Airbnbs are usually pretty homey, and there are some nice touches that people kind of decorate with. So this is an Airbnb. I have decided. If The Sims want to add Airbnb as a thing, I think that would be cool. And anyway, I go ahead and I add these little fish decorations and a plant and the ceiling fans, and we move on to the kitchen, which I wanted it to be blue and a little bit brighter. So I do use this tile from Parenthood, and I have been going with these countertops because I just love that swatch of wood. I really can't get away from it. It's very peaceful to me and very clean, and like I said in my last build, it really does match the Jungle Adventure cabinets really well. So I use it a lot, but instead I try to put a shelving unit between these two cabinets, and I go with these just kind of base game shelves, I believe they are, and I clutter them up just a little bit, just with some kitchen items. Again, nothing too crazy and personalized, but I use the tropical bowl of fruit. I add a spice jar, and I actually used the coffee maker and that pitcher of, I think that came with backyard stuff or something like that. I think it's supposed to be like a lemonade pitcher or something. I thought that was appropriate for a tropical world. And here we are just adding a plant, a decorative item from Jungle Adventure, a spice rack, and I end up pulling out this basket, which is not in the debug menu, but it's a hidden object, so you have to use the BB Show Hidden Objects cheat to actually have it show up in your decoration category in the catalog, and that was from Jungle Adventure as well. And I put some bell peppers in there, which were from the debug menu, because I wanted it to look like there was some food in there. I don't know if it'll rot, just FYI, so if you do download this build and they're in there and they start stinking, I apologize, you'll just have to throw them out. And then I use those little flip-flop lights because I can't resist using them in a build in Sulani, and just add some paper towels, that little incense burner, and I think I just put utensils and shuffle them around a bit because, again, not very personalized, just wanted it to look decorated and simple. And here we are in the very first bathroom, and this is what I was talking about. I just put a bathtub and I put all of these plants around it, and I put some drapes in the window, and I'm thinking that the breeze just comes in from the ocean basically outside across the deck. That area, if I could have that in my home, I would do anything. Like, I would literally live in a closet if it meant I had that as the bathroom. I'd be totally fine. And then I go ahead and put up a full-length mirror and a mirror over the sink and the countertop. I just add some towels and a hamper since there is laundry in this build. And then I just add another candle, I think, on that countertop, and just a few other items in the bathroom. But that's pretty much it. Again, very simple, but you do at least have the basics that you need, and it looks somewhat decorated and a little bit themed and personalized for this build. And then, since I was kind of rolling with the punches with the bathrooms, I do the second one. I do partition it off just like the other one, but this one does have a bathtub, which is actually from Seasons, and the shower from the New Island Living Pack. And I do use these shelves. I just put tons of plants up there for this one. I just wanted them to be a little bit different. I didn't want to repeat artwork or anything like that. So I put up a towel rack. I give them another hamper to collect their laundry, and just do the toilet and the countertop and the sink. I also give them, in this bathroom, another full-length mirror, along with a plant and some other clutter items like beach towels is what I'm thinking that is. And now we are moving on to the laundry room again, because I just wanted to add the sunblock for some reason. Don't know why. Great place for it though. And now we're moving on to one of the bedrooms. I did want to do a few bedrooms with one kind of double bed, and then at least one bedroom with two single beds. So this is the only room with single beds. And, you know, if you were going to use this as a residential lot, this could be a children's room and you could totally personalize it. So that was kind of my thought. I was going to do a gallery wall, but I kind of did that in one of my last builds, so I wanted to go ahead, just toss in the wardrobe, add some of that artwork there, add a fan, and just the dresser, and put a few clutter items up there, like some lotions and whatnot. So I do give them another sunblock, I believe, and some candles, and that's pretty much it, because I did want to keep it very simple in this bedroom, and in all of the bedrooms, to be frank. And yeah, we're just adding a curtain, some other artwork, and then I do put just one chair in this little tiny nook. I figure if someone's trying to kind of section themselves off from everyone else that's staying at the rental property with them, they can just go ahead and read in this little nook. So I put a pile of books there because I thought that was kind of a nice accent to the whole thing. And I do add just a little tiny area rug, again, one that we got with Island Living. And then these little seats at the end of each bed, they are actually chairs, but I don't know. I was just thinking that they might be little storage units too. You know, the ones that you could get for the end of your bed, or I guess even one that you'd have in your living room. Like I know some ottomans for living room sets now, you can actually lift up and store things in. So that was kind of my thought. And we're on to one of the other bedrooms. This one ends up being a little bit of a mess. I was trying to go with this pink theme, but that swatch, the one that I end up going with for that thing at the end, the little love seat at the end, which I'm thinking is kind of like an ottoman too, it had pink in the little swatch preview, and then when you pull it up, it's not pink at all. It was green, and it matched the same wood of the bed frame, but it had no pink in it. So I was like, you know what, fine, I'll just ignore it, and we'll just continue on and try to match other things. And then I pulled out this rug where I thought it looked more pink than it did red, and I just end up changing all of it. But I do place that mirror from Jungle Adventure behind the dresser and pull the dresser forward a little bit just to make it look like it is maybe sitting on top of the dresser. I don't know, I think I've seen tricks like that before, so I thought it looked nice, but definitely tell me what you guys think. I don't know if that really works. It was kind of a weird trick. I was giving it a shot. And then I end up changing the theme of this room to green and just using that same accent wallpaper that was out in the living room. It's kind of like green and blue. But then we go on to the last bedroom, where the theme is straight up green, and then some of those, I guess it's kind of like red wood, is the color I'd kind of label it. I do section off again a little entryway because that is the entrance out to the back patio. I put this mirror yet again because it's in all the bathrooms and now in 2 of the bedrooms. And I do use one of the partitions just to break up the room a little bit. So right where that entryway door is in that walk-in closet, I go ahead and just put one of the partitions after I hang up some of those feather artwork pieces from cats and dogs. And yeah, I don't know, I thought it looked okay. Like I said, it partitioned it off just a little tiny bit, nothing too crazy. I thought it gave the room a little bit of character. I was gonna try to use one of these dressers, but I was worried that the sim wouldn't be able to get to the other side of the bed, therefore they couldn't get to the patio. So I end up using this tall stand-up dresser, which they have the walk-in closet, so I guess they don't need. But I needed to fill that corner with something, and I didn't want it to be another plant because I pretty much exhausted my plant options at this point. And now we're onto the back patio, or at least the top tier of the back patio. And I use these Island Living couches, which I create into an L-shaped couch, so they can't really sit in the corner, but they can sit on the other ends of the couch. Or couches, I should say, which is nice. And I was gonna go ahead and kind of evenly stack these chairs around the table, but it looked way too, I don't know, way too game-like. It didn't look real enough for me. So I did section them off into little pairs and put a plant in between them. I thought that was a little bit more realistic. And then I just end up with 2 of them because again, I thought that looked a little bit more realistic than setting up like 4 chairs in a perfect circle around this table. I try to avoid that. I don't want it to look like I've just placed items in a game on tiles. I want it to look as realistic as possible. So yeah, I go ahead, put the end tables, I put those standing lights that we got with Island Living, and I do give them a grill, though I didn't give an actual picnic table. So I was thinking they actually could just eat all around in that little outside lounge area. I do put the lights all the way down the various steps to this bottom part of the patio, and I do give them that little lean-to to provide shade, 2 lounge chairs, and just a candle. And then I actually go ahead and put 3 towels down because I figured there's a bunch of Sims that are vacationing here and hanging out here, so I wanted to give more lounge spaces. And then I looked over and realized I had basically the entire lot to go. And I had no idea what to do, and I was like, what am I gonna put here? Boathouse. Done. Figured it out. Let's do it. Y'all are gonna come along to the journey with me because I had no idea how I wanted this to look. So you'll see me creating like all these different boxes and various shapes just to try to like section it off. So I did just build the structure. I tried to attach it to the back patio, and I was basically trying to clear out those middle kind of, I guess, little alleyways. That's not right. The little spots where the boats are gonna go. They're basically the parking spaces for the boats, for the canoes. That's what I was going for. And it took me a while, but I did get it. And then I realized those canoes are really tall. This needs to be a 2-story boathouse. It's gonna look giant compared to the house, which is only 1 story, but oh well, we're going with it. And I go ahead and I create kind of the same roof texture and shape as the home, as well as the same siding. And then I thought about it. Wow, this is gonna look real weird. When you're looking from the front of the house, you're just seeing this rectangle with like no windows or anything. I figured that was more of a back of the house thing, so I flipped it. And I had to then go ahead and just connect that little patio boardwalk to at least part of this. I did put a door here so they could access the canoes, but I will be transparent and say I am not sure if they can actually get in and move the canoes from these spots, because I did use the BB move move objects on, there we go, the move objects on cheat to put them there. So you have been fair warned. If you do want to use the canoes, you might have to take them out of this structure, but I really wanted it there for at least screenshots and for the build video's purpose. So just want to let you know, I did playtest everything else, but those I don't think are going to work. And when I did actually put a sim here to live, I couldn't, like, the canoes disappeared, and then I couldn't buy them again no matter how much money I gave my sim, because it was a rental property. But I couldn't buy it as a rental property, and when I moved the sim there, it was as if he owned it. And when I tried to send him on vacation to actually go on vacation at this lot as a rental property, I could only send him to Granite Falls and Salvadorada. So the rental functionality really, at least if I'm missing something, which is totally possible, so far it hasn't worked. But we are almost at the screenshots, of which there are a lot, so thank you guys so much, and I really hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you next time I post a video. Bye!